Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today on our first podcast, GowayPro podcast, aptly named GowayPro Travel Tales. And today I have with me our Director of Sales, Renee Stanton, who is actually based out in Vancouver. We have offices here in Toronto, Vancouver, LA, Sydney, Manila. And we are going to talk about why we're doing podcasts, what the podcast series will entail. But before we get going, for those who may not have met Renee at one of our many travel shows that we attend, Renee, you want to give us a bit of a background on who you are and how long you've been at Goway? And
sure thing. Thank you so much for having me on the inaugural podcast. So as Don mentioned, I'm the Director of Sales. I oversee the account management team here in North America, and we also take care of our lovely preferred partners out there, so all of our travel advisors. I just hit 7 years, Don. I think my 7-year anniversary was last week, so there you go.
Yeah. There you go. We do have a lot of long-standing staff here at Goway. I'm coming up to my 18th or 19th year. I lost track. Yeah. So as Renee mentioned, we're here in support of all our travel partners out there, be it the individual travel agent or the large consortia, many of whom which Goway deals with. And part of our mandate here at Goway and what Renee and I spearhead and do is the education of our travel partners and everything Goway, but also everything in travel in regards to the world, the destinations, etc. And our first sort of big step and foray into that coming out of COVID was the launching of the GowayPro Travel Academy, where we have over 55 countries, I think now, containing destinational, primarily information on everywhere that Goway sells, and that is all 7 continents all over the world. So that is a fantastic resource for that sort of bread and butter, meat and potatoes, day-to-day knowledge that you need to have on selling a destination, plus aspects about Goway, including our groups department, how to work with us, all that type of thing. But our podcast, we hope to open up to a broader subject base, and I'll let Renee expand on where we want to head with our podcast content.
Absolutely.
Renee?
Well, thank you for the question, Don. So I think the GowayPro Academy, it launched 3 years ago now, so it was just post-COVID.
Yeah.
So it's been 3 years now. We've had some fantastic feedback, and one thing that we have received a lot of compliments about is the fact that it's education on the go. It's all about when the travel advisor is ready. Even though we do our webinar series twice a week at 2 p.m. on a Thursday, the majority of our listeners are actually listening after the fact, not during that segmented time. So we thought, let's look at podcasts. It's what really everyone's doing right now, and there's not a huge amount in our particular space, and I think it was a natural extension from what we're currently doing. So it really promotes education on the go, whether you're driving to work or perhaps you're on a plane going somewhere. We really want to be able to educate you on our destinations, but we want to do it slightly different to how we've done the Academy. And I think it's in the name. It's GowayPro Travel Tales. So we want to educate you through storytelling. So that's where it all came from. And that's kind of what it's all going to be about.
Yeah, so that's why we're sort of swimming into the area of podcasts, because pretty much every man and his dog does a podcast these days. And I think that's a good thing in that, because every person out there has varying interests. If you're into knitting or you're into special forces or you're into painting, whatever you're into, there's a podcast to listen to. So we want to hit that market, so to speak, of the travel world. But again, not so much the in-your-face marketing of Goway or the selling of Goway, but to inspire you. I did jump over our tagline, which you will be hearing as we go forward, and that is hear stories from industry experts, travelers, explorers, and globetrotters who will inspire you to dream bigger, explore further, and discover a new world. So again, we want people's experiences coming forward here, from people who travel to West Africa, to Australia, to Peru, to Europe. We want to hear their stories and how they were changed and inspired, and hopefully in turn inspire you, and in turn inspire your clients out there. And another key aspect that I think Renee touched on there is we've learned through our webinars that listening on demand is key these days in a very, very busy world, very connected, internet world. So the podcast will be, exactly as Renee said, available for you when you want to listen to it based on the subject you're interested in, and be it, sitting in front of a coffee on a Saturday morning or riding the subway or a car, driving to work. the listen on demand, I think, is one of the other reasons we want to get into that podcast space, because it allows that flexibility to you as our travel partner listener. So Renee, we sort of alluded to Travel Tales. So who are we lining up as some of our special guests for our podcast?
Well, we have travel industry experts throughout. So whether that's a destination specialist, someone in our marketing division within Goway, or it could be one of our suppliers in destination. So we actually have a long lineup of some very interesting people that are going to tell us their stories about what's inspired them. It's also going to be more so on a subject matter rather than, say, I did a podcast on Australia. That's very general. That was where we would direct you more so to the GowayPro Academy. Perhaps it would be me talking about walking tours throughout Sydney and some of the iconic places that you can visit. So it's going to be very, very much about a particular subject matter. And I think it'll be a really interesting way to educate people. And you and I have had a chat about this before, but what I can remember back when I used to be a travel advisor, I remember speaking to a guide from South Africa, and he talked about a day in the life of being on a safari. And just the way that he did that through storytelling really inspired me to be able to sell South Africa in a different way to my customers. So I think it's an interesting way to sell to your customers, and hopefully these stories will inspire you to sell some of these amazing destinations we sell.
I've always personally found firsthand experiences of someone traveling is what inspires me to, if not go to that country, but do something similar in a country of my choice. And as Renee says, we'll hopefully be having people on anywhere from marketing, so we can get into some sort of nitty gritty stuff of how to market your business, how to market your agency, how to market a product or a group. All the way to, we've actually got a couple of, we've already recorded speaking to some people from Africa about their conservation work in their lodges in southern Africa as well, protecting rhino, protecting elephant. So, we'll broach subjects about what is a reserve, what is a conservancy in South Africa, all those type of things. So again, tales versus, hardcore learning, but again, underlying all that will be the learning aspect. So Renee, we have our webinars every second Thursday, fortnight, as we say in Australia, at 2:00, and then they're on demand after that on our Facebook and YouTube channel. So when will the podcast slide into our sort of schedule of
They'll
education?
be every other alternative week. So every Thursday you will have something that drops. It'll either be a webinar or it'll be a podcast.
Okay, so when these podcasts drop, to use the cool terms here, where can people get their podcast? Where can they get the GowayPro Travel Tale podcast?
Sure, they'll actually be on all of the usual platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. But another way to navigate to them is through our GowayPro.com website. So for those of you that haven't visited our website before, it used to be Goway Travel Agents. It is now GowayPro.com. And that is our travel industry website dedicated just for travel advisors.
Yep. So on there will be a section for the podcast, and that will grow as we drop more. So you can play directly from that website if you like. But again, if you subscribe to the channel, and you'll start seeing that pop up all over the place. And again, you can subscribe straight from GowayPro as well. You can get it on demand when you want. But we will have the podcasts as they go up and repeats there. So you basically, GowayPro.com is your one-stop stuff for all things Goway trade related, including GowayPro Travel Academy if you want to sign up or log in from there. Our rewards card, which we have information there, FAM information, travel events. Again, everything you need to know about Goway from the trade point of view. GowayPro.com is your avenue, and of course now the podcast. So that pretty much wraps up what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how we're doing it. Renee, is there anything else you'd like to leave our listening audience with before we say goodbye and welcome them to our first podcast?
Absolutely.
In 2 weeks?
Well, make sure you subscribe. Obviously, that's important because you'll then get those updates from your platform in regards to a new podcast being launched. And if you haven't already joined up to the Travel Academy, please do so. As mentioned, we've had over, I think it's 4,000 or 5,000 people actually sign into the Academy. We have some amazing feedback, and it really is about educating you on the destination more so than Goway as an organization. So please join us for this journey, and we hope you enjoy the podcast series.
Yeah, and just as a side promotion here on the Academy, it's been it's accredited by ACTA in Canada, endorsed by ASTA, and it's with the Travel Institute as well, so you can earn CEU points on any course you may take. But podcasts are the next best thing, and you'll start seeing them everywhere. Again, go to GowayPro.com to find them. Subscribe when you start seeing them pop up, which is about now. And if you have any suggestions or any topic or subject matter you would like us to discuss, please email us at info@goway.com, and we will then try and get someone in to talk about that, or we'll talk about it ourselves. We have over 130 destination specialists here from all parts of the world who have traveled extensively. So pretty much any subject matter travel, Goway can get it covered, and we'll get it covered in the GowayPro Travel Tales podcast. Thank you, everyone, for listening in today. And Renee, thank you very much for your time. And we'll talk to you all, and hopefully you'll hear us all soon.
Thanks for having me.